Your dreams stay big.
It was Aaron who posted that. Can you guess what it was a picture of?
Her kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because,
Good
why
guesser.
not use a stereotypical song
I'm a
with a
good
picture of
guesser.
your kid?
Good guesser.
No, I think it's just basic.
Oh, I also was going to show you the list of stuff. See if
It's
there's
okay. I
anything.
have an idea.
You have an idea?
I have.
We're definitely going to start the podcast now. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box?
What's in the fucking box? Burr, burr, burr.
We back in the studio.
Studio.
Well, we're back in the makeshift
We're
studio.
back in annoying our neighbors.
Yeah, because it's hot enough that we can be in here. And
It
Cheryl's
is hot.
Cheryl's not like, fuck you.
It's cool. I'm not doing it.
So yeah, we're still going to figure out the generator thing because I want to do it in here year round. But for right now, we're going to be able to do at least the next couple in here because it's going to be warm
I
enough.
gotta do my face warm-ups.
Yeah. For all the talking you're going to do. Cheryl's sporting the mom look. I had to deal with people for birthdays and children. So
yeah, okay, like I don't have this look every fucking podcast.
her hair just seems to get lower and lower. It's crazy. Just darker and darker. Anyway, but Cheryl has I do want to talk about something first and then we'll get into your idea. Will you remember if we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to talk about Wyatt's birthday though.
Well, that goes with my idea, so let's go.
Well,
let's do
I just want I know that we've talked about this multiple times, but I just wanted to know if like in moments like that, like birthdays or like I don't know, like adventures or something, because like Wyatt is your last kid and stuff, if like you notice those things in the moment or if it's like an afterthought. Like if you have moments like during his birthday party where you're like, man, he's like 3 now. Or if that's like an afterthought, like later when you're like, he's getting so big after the fact.
No, it's constant.
All the time?
Yeah.
Like even when he's like
every minute of every day. Like knowing you're having your last kid is the most heartbreaking thing. And I know I've said this before on the podcast, but it is the most painful experience I have ever experienced because every minute of every day is heartbreaking.
You're like, there's something else that it's never gonna be happening.
Never gonna see that
never
again.
Never gonna happen again.
Never gonna happen again.
Cause I have moments.
Like, and I know there's grandbabies in the future, but like, well, hopefully.
Huh?
Let's hope after 3 kids I get a grandbaby.
One of them.
But I know in the future there's grandbabies, so I know there's more experiences to be had, but they're not going to be the same because I'm not going to be with them 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see them first steps, those first words. Like, I might see 1 or 2 of them maybe, but
not the whole thing.
But not, and it won't be consecutive. I won't get to see how they got there to the first steps. I won't, it's like, yep, this is it.
Well, I was asking because I've said this before that there's a difference between dads and moms in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Is because like with him, like I don't really have I have that of like I want to like be here for these things because like there's not another opportunity.
I think, but it's also your first kid.
Yeah, but also it's my last kid.
Yeah, but the difference is you didn't go through this experience before, knowing how fast it can go. Like I know you have watched how fast the girls can grow, but you've watched them from like already Wyatt's age up.
Yeah.
So you missed all those like
the little things.
The first moment stuff that Alice already was past by the time you met her. Like Alice was even potty trained by the time you met her.
Yeah.
So like
but like I like even like yesterday during the party or whatever, like I was watching him and I was like, this is really cool, like seeing him do things and like seeing him. I don't know, I've said this, I feel like in most ways, not all, in most ways he's way more advanced than 3-year-olds that I know or I've seen. And it was just cool to kind of see him interact with everybody in a way that wasn't like, oh, he's a baby. Like he was like actually interacting with people and like saying hi and like making his own like mistakes.
Yeah, we didn't
and,
have
like,
to
stuff
follow
like that.
him
Yeah.
around the party. We didn't have to hover around him through the party and make sure. I mean, to be fair though, I did see some. I don't know if you watched all the Ring videos yet,
Mm-mm.
but we missed something. We
What?
missed something big.
What?
When your dad and mom and everyone were getting ready to leave and like getting into the car,
Yeah.
Wyatt had the little popper bubble thing, and he was driving it down the driveway, and he just drove it right into the road and just was in the road, and your dad was yelling at him to get back into the driveway, and neither of us were there. And I was like, oh shit. Like normally we're on that, and normally we're really good about like, but we did slip, and that didn't happen just once yesterday. I caught him.
Yeah, there was a few times where I did.
I caught him when he chased Chris to Chris and Kimmy's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. But I don't know. It's just like I said. It's one of those things where like I know is different for you, and especially different for like moms in general. Because like I don't know, mine's not constant. Again, there's differences, but like mine's not like constant.
No, and I
like
get
I want to
that.
see that, but I know yours is like very much so. Like even like.
Well, and I understand that, and mine wasn't either with the girls. It wasn't like even with Alice, with her being the second one. Like if anything, poor Alice. Like I had them so close together, everything was just a blur. Because I was so busy now that like with two kids, you know, like your sister's gonna go through it. She's gonna go through it. Because not only is this like kid so far away from her other ones, but it's a girl, so
yeah,
she's gonna
good luck.
Good luck. You're gonna cry more than you've ever cried in your whole life. You're not gonna know why you're crying. You're just gonna wake up crying.
Anyway, I have something else, but we can do yours. We can do yours first.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've asked you this before. I don't know if I've asked you on the podcast or not, but I'm going to ask you again because I like to talk about it.
There's a lot of things that I want to talk to you again. We've talked about prior. Different, because I have different perspectives on things that we've talked about.
Well, things have changed.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Was there ever, like growing up, was there ever like a toy or like anything like specific to childhood that you remember seeing like at your friends' houses or on TV and stuff that you really wanted but you never got?
Everything.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I don't know specifically of like a toy or something. I'm sure there was a lot of things. I remember, and this is not a negative thing against my parents or anything.
No.
That, but like I remember a lot of times I would see things that people would get for toys or like presents or something like that, and I'd be like, "Oh, that'd be really cool," and I just wouldn't get it. And it wasn't like a downer thing. It wasn't like something I held on to. But I remember that a lot. I remember feeling that a lot. That a lot of my friends got like the cool toys.
Yeah.
And I got like the G.I. Joe, which like wasn't.
I feel like
the generic G.I. Joe, which like wasn't cool.
I feel like.
But there was gaming systems.
Yeah.
That's one I remember a lot. That my friend, the side story to this that I'll tell you when we're off this, but my best friend at the time got an Xbox, and he like the first Xbox, and he got all the games and whatever, and I thought it was so cool. And we still had, I think, the PlayStation 2 at that point, or PlayStation, one of them, whichever came out at the same time. And I remember really wanting it because, not because there was a game that he had on Xbox that we couldn't get on PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was just that the Xbox was so new that I was like, this is fucking cool. And at that time, like you could save like CDs and stuff to it. And I was like, this is so cool. And we never like got like I remember that a lot because I went over to his house a lot.
To do it because you didn't have
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I think part of my problem when I was little wasn't so much that my parents didn't get me what I wanted. It was I would forget to ask for what I wanted. Like I would know all these things from other people's houses and other stuff, and or like from watching commercials and stuff. But by the time my parents were like, "What do you want for Christmas?" or by the time the mall Santa's asking me, "What do you want for Christmas?" I totally just spaced it. Like I'm just like, I don't know, a Barbie.
A Barbie?
Which is, like, I did love Barbies, don't get me wrong, but that's all I got.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that's all you could remember.
And everything. Like, I remember everything was Barbie. And I'm just like, but I wanted the kitchenette set. I wanted, I can still tell you to this day.
I wanted the dream house.
The toys that I really, really wanted. And I never even asked for because I just would completely fucking space it. But... And I think some things too I didn't ask for later as I got older because my mom was a single mom and I knew she couldn't, like I didn't want to ask for something that was going to make her upset that she couldn't do for me.
There was a few things. I don't know if my parents know this. But I know for sure.
I was too worried about other shit that I shouldn't have been worried about as a kid.
Yeah, there was a few times, and I think that just comes with age. I mean, obviously, me and you have talked. Your age of being conscious of that was a lot earlier than most people, but I think that's just an age thing that you eventually learn money, and you learn that $20 is like $1.
$20 is a lot, yeah.
And then you look to like it's an age thing. I strongly feel that, but I remember, trading. Anyway, I remember that too. I remember getting to a point where I was like, "What?"
I was just looking.
I've never
looked at the wood before.
There's no leaks in here.
They're kind of wet though.
Well, yeah, they get because it's wood, but it retains water. But there's no leaks in here. I looked the last time it rained. I think there might be one in the corner, but that's not it. But anyway, I remember a time where like I would want something and I'd be like, "Oh, there's no point in asking." Not in like a disappointing way of like shit,
just more of like a I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to disappoint myself.
Yeah, I think the last thing.
I don't want it that bad to where.
I think that was the last thing that I asked, like big thing that I asked for was when I've told the story on here before, was when me and my brother asked for PSPs when they first came out. I think that was the last big, like, it would be really, and even that year, I remember thinking that. I remember being like, if it's not there, it's not that big a deal.
And I'm not saying like my parents never got me anything big or cool because they did.
My parents my parents were a lot like you are with the girls. Like my parents were, even if it was one thing, it was going to be a really good thing.
Good thing, yeah.
And they did that. They constantly. I will say that about my parents every year. We never went a Christmas without like at least one big
Which is
thing.
way cheaper when they're younger.
Yeah.
The older they get, the more expensive that big thing gets.
I was gonna say even that PSP, which like I said was the last at least that I remember. There might have been one after that, but the last like big thing that me and my brother asked for, even at that time when they came out, were like $250.
Yeah.
And we got one movie and one game each.
Yeah.
Which was like another like 30 or 40 at that point.
But that's another thing. Let's talk about that
but like
too.
One.
Well, wait just a second.
Sorry.
Was there ever a gift that you got that you did ask for? Like, or maybe not that. Was there ever like a gift though that specifically sticks out in your head as being like, holy shit, that's awesome?
You're doing so good. You're doing so great. I'm so proud of you.
What?
You have an idea and you're going with it. You're asking questions. Nice.
I love this. This is my favorite topic.
It's nice.
Well, not my favorite topic. It's one of my favorite topics. I'm a gift giver, so this is like my jam. Like.
So really, you've run out of gift ideas for me. You're trying to find something else.
I've ran out of gift ideas for you a long time ago, bud.
If we keep talking, there's going to be a gift I can bring back.
For sure not.
No. I'm pretty good. Anyway, no. I don't know. I don't know if there was. I think the PSP was a big one that I,
where you're like, oh shit.
yeah, I was like shit. It happened. Like
Yeah.
that's, and like I said, and maybe that was, and I've said this about this story before, that I think that was just, I would assume that was just like a memory stuck in my head because I didn't think we were gonna get anything that year. So for all I know, that memory could have still been as big if it was anything else. You know what I mean?
But that doesn't matter because it was that.
But yeah, but that was the one that really sticks out as that. As I was like, oh shit.
Do you ever have one from when you were younger, like toys?
I don't really have, as far as toys go, I don't really have a whole lot of memories from like birthday or Christmas presents when I was a kid. I have little not like a whoa, I got this. I have little things. Like I remember when I'm gonna word this differently. When my uncle came for Christmas, which he rarely did, and he got me and Brandon these like remote control like skateboarder dudes, but they were like full. I'll find a picture.
Cool.
It was cool. It was like an actual like action figure, like those thick ones, like those
some cool ass
like those thick ones, like those thick ones. But it was on a skateboard that was like this big, and it was remote controlled, so you could like.
That's cool.
And we all got like, I say little gifts. We all got little gifts that year. Like we got pogo sticks and like the Family Dollar Family Dollar spy goggles that were green, like things that are cool for children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but we all got
shit like that cool.
But we all got children. No, me and my brother spent like a whole 3-year stretch on the spy gear when Spy Kids came out.
Yeah.
That was like super cheap and didn't do shit. We spent like a whole 3 years like buying that stuff and like whatever. It was.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
but that was like the big one that I remember from being a child is because like that was like something that was over the, I don't even want to say cheap, but over like the cheap section. Like it wasn't just like a simple thing. Like it was a remote control thing, like that moved.
Yeah.
Which you didn't really. I remember that. That was as far as childhood things go. But then there was things that were just exciting for me and my brother. Like we got snowboards one year, and they weren't the nice ones. They were just the Walmart $10 flimsy like snowboards. Yeah. But like we used them for years. I liked it. I love snowboarding, so it was a lot of fun for me. I don't know if I don't remember my brother using it that often, but I did. I used it all the time because I love snowboarding. But there's just little things like that. I don't know. Do you have? I'm assuming you have one.
I have 2 like children's ones, and I have 2 like teenager ones. And my first one that I don't know if it's the first one because I don't know which one came first, but it's the more dominant memory. Is I don't know if it was a birthday or Christmas. I know we were at my grandma's house in Marinette, the one I showed you with the big green 2 French doors or whatever. And my Aunt Kelly got me a stuffed Dalmatian, and I had that thing all the way up until I moved here. Like, and I want to like kill myself because I lost it, because that thing means so fucking much to me. Like I can remember as a kid, like that thing meant so much to me. I remember one time I accidentally left it at my friend's house from a sleepover, and the next night I bawled because I didn't have it.
Ooh,
my mom had to come and like put me to sleep because I was inconsolable, like because I didn't have it. And then I know back to Barbie, but I got
Barbie's Dream House.
No, because I might have asked. I did get a Barbie house before, and it was really fucking cool, and I had that thing for a long time too. But the one I got really excited about was the Barbie Beetle, the Volkswagen Beetle. Oh man, I was so excited about that thing. And it even had a little, you know how like the newer Volkswagen Beetles? Because that's what it was. It was the newer style Volkswagen Beetle. I say newer style, but I was like 6 when I fucking got this thing. So the newer style Volkswagen Beetles aren't so new anymore. But it even had the little, you remember how they had the little cup holder for the flower? It even had that, and it had a little flower that you could put in the little cup holder for the flower. It was so cool. And it came with like flower power stickers you could put all over it. Oh, it was so cool. I just thought it was just the coolest.
It was pretty nice.
And then I think I was 10 and it was Christmas, and this was I might have been, yeah, I had to have been 10. But this was right after my mom and my dad split, and my mom was struggling financially. So, and I remember her asking me what I wanted for Christmas, and like all I really wanted was just.
And you did the Emma? No, it's fine.
No. All I really wanted at all for like a while was just a little CD player to like play CDs on. Like I had a bunch of CDs. Like I just wanted a little like, and I was thinking one of those little small boombox ones where you just like push the button and the top flaps open like this. And so that's all I asked for.
Man, if that's not a core memory that you just brought up right now.
Yeah, right? The maroon red ones. Yeah.
You just went like this. And I was like,
top. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And it had the cassette in the front. Yeah. So and I remember that's all I asked for, but Christmas came and there's this huge box down there, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I open it up, and this lady got me the 6-disc changer, 2 cassette player, AM, FM radio, fucking stereo. Like, and I'm talking about like, you got to connect the speakers. There's 2 separate speakers that you got to connect to the back stereo. And I was like, what? Like, I was so excited. And then the last one I remember was my skateboard. Because I remember like asking for, I wanted a skateboard really bad. And I remember asking for one. And I wanted one that was like nice. Like I didn't want just like a, and I knew that was a lot to ask for, but I didn't want one that was going to fall apart on me, or that I had a hard time like,
or that you were just going to break.
Yeah. And so I was expecting her, I wasn't expecting like expensive, but like newer. Like, and she just went to the actual like skate shop and got me like a real board. Like she asked them like, what kind of board for a beginner, like, and got me the chucks that were for my weight. And I mean, it was just cool. Like
my dad did that to me. I don't remember him actually buying it, but we did that. We did the whole thing. Like we went and looked at prices and whatever, because I was going to get it for my birthday, and I ended up not getting it. But my dad did that. He got me the same thing. He got me a skateboard, and I like redid it myself, like repainted it. And
yeah, I did too. Yeah, because she got me one with just like a basic logo, so that way, like the whole bottom of the board, other than the logo part, was one color.
You want to know?
And I did. I was able to like customize the whole thing.
You want to know a backstory?
Huh?
You want to know a backstory that nobody else knows?
I want to know a backstory that no one else knows.
That's not true. My parents know this story, but nobody that I'm friends with and nobody up here knows the story. You want to know where Taz came from? It came from me and my best friend. That was going to be our skateboard company.
You're so goofy.
Because his name was Tyler, so it was Tyler and Zach, and that's where Taz came from. That's where Taz came from.
You're so goofy.
Yeah, but that skateboard. That's why I bring that up. Is because that skateboard was when me and him talked about having our own like thing, and so I redid the whole bottom.
So you're like customizing your own.
I did, and I had Taz on the bottom, and then I did it to my bike too. My grandpa actually repainted my entire bike and did it. Oh, yeah.
That same birthday, my stepdad. I think it was that same birthday. It might have been a holiday after. It might have been Christmas or something. I
like Taz too.
But my stepdad took me out and got me my first pair of like real shoes. Like.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 16. It was my 16th birthday that my mom got me the skateboard. So I had to have been 16 when, or no, yeah, it was my 16th birthday when mom got me. I don't know. It might have been 15.
You're super sweet 16. Most people get a
No,
car.
because
You
I
got
was in
skate
first.
shoes.
I think it was my 15th birthday, actually.
You were the super sweet 16 that was stomping
No,
their
I think I
feet
got-
for skate
I think I
shoes.
was 15 or 14. 14 or 15. I was 15 because I was in freshman year of high school. So I was 15 when I got my skateboard, and then my stepdad took me to get my shoes, which I never had. Like, I say real shoes, but all shoes are real shoes. I mean like expensive shoes.
I was walking around in Jesus
Like-
sandals.
No, like, okay, so we always went to Payless, so
Yeah.
I always had Airwalks because
Yep.
that's the Payless skate shoe. Don't
Yep.
get me wrong, Airwalks are fucking cool. Like, I loved my Airwalks. I did, and I always customized the laces. But
Dude, when we were talking about that when Emma started doing that.
yeah,
When
It's
she was
so
like,
cute.
look what I can do with my
and I was like, "Ooh, girl, let me show you some stuff."
girl.
You don't know.
We're from the generation that started your fucking lace thing.
Yeah, so he went and took me and to like an actual like DC whatever store, and got me a pair of expensive shoes, and I picked out these Fallen White Tiger shoes. So they were like black, like the whole, like, they were skate shoes, so you know, the big puffy tongue and everything. So it was black, and then there was like a little window on the front that had like white and black stripes, like a zebra, but it was White Tiger. And then it had the two side panels that were White Tiger, and the rest of the shoe was black. And I loved them. I wore those down to nothing. Like, there was nothing left inside of them.
I still have mine.
And they got stolen. Yeah. Imagine that. Like, can you imagine stealing those shoes? Like, those were so gross. Like, yeah, they looked cool from the outside still, and I even customized the laces into a checkerboard. So
but you had the black on the inside.
it wasn't black on the inside. It was just like the white plastic. You know what I mean? Like, it was down to nothing. Like, there was toe marks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could see black imprints of toes if you looked inside of it. It was gross inside of those. But yeah, it was in my junior year of high school. I took them off in gym to put on my gym shoes, and when I came back into the locker room, they were gone, and I was like, so either someone stole them or someone was like, this bitch needs to throw these things away.
like a staff walked by and was like,
They were like, she has shoes.
these.
She doesn't need
She
these.
doesn't need
Yeah.
these.
But I customized the laces to be black and white checkerboard, and it was just so cool. But because of those shoes, and I was so like in love with those shoes and inspired by those shoes, and the box that the shoes came with a stencil. The stencil for the F for Fallen. And so I used that stencil and I customized black and white stripes all over my skateboard.
That's cool.
Yeah, so my skateboard matched my shoes.
That's cool.
Yeah. I even did white chalk paint on the top, so that way it would still grip. And it looked really cool. It was really cool.
I think up until probably my freshman, sophomore year of high school, one of those. I wasn't in high school for very long, so one of those. I love skate shoes forever, just because like I skated for a long time.
And they were cool. They were in
comfortable,
style.
and they were comfortable.
Skate shoes when we were a kid were like Jordans now.
Yeah.
They were like
I still have I mean, you've seen them. They're in there somewhere. I still have my DCs. Those are the last like skate shoes I bought. Oh no, I think my dad bought me those.
yeah.
But yeah, I wore skate shoes forever just
Yeah.
because they're super comfortable and I liked the way they looked. I still like the way they look.
I get pumped when the girls want a pair of
Yeah.
Vans. Like I know I know Vans now are like the almond.
Almond.
That's what Emma calls. That's what Emma says. Almond mom.
Almond mom.
So I know that Vans now are like the almond shoes, but like
Dad rock.
well, I guess it depends on the colors you get because the kind of Vans that Emma get or Alice gets aren't the almond Vans.
Ran.
Whereas like Emma gets like the tans and the whites and you know. I wouldn't get tan and white Vans.
I was cool.
If I had money to get myself Vans, if I didn't have to buy my daughter's new shoes that were hell of expensive every year, I would get myself some really sweet
Some really super sweet
Vans.
Some super sweet Vans.
They would have colors
and checkered laces.
and checkered laces.
Oh, now I forgot what I was gonna
Oh
say.
no, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You just said something that I was like, yeah, I want to talk about that, but I forgot. Speaking of that, though, do you remember when you wanted, like when skating or when like you were interested in it? Like you remember a time frame or a moment where you're like, that looks fun?
Well, I mean, okay, I think it just kind of came with our generation because like Tony Hawk was huge and like Viva La Bam and...
Ooh, which came first for you? That's a good question.
What?
Tony Hawk or Bam?
Probably Bam because of Jackass. But it wasn't Bam so much in Jackass, it was more of Chris.
And Ryan?
And, well, no, it was Chris and Johnny Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Johnny Knoxville still claims he's... like horrible, but it was them that like kind of was like, oh, like, and then Bam got his own show, but like Tony Hawk was a thing. Like I remember that being a thing. Like I don't know, it was just kind of always there, and so I was just always like, yeah, skateboarding, it's like a thing. And then this is gonna sound stupid, but I was a girl, so of course, like guys influence things. Like you can't help that; it just happens. It's part of hormones. And like this guy I really liked for a long time skateboarded everywhere. Like that's all he did. And I was like, I gotta learn how to skateboard. But I mean, it wasn't like that was the only reason. Like I was always interested in it. It was just like now I have a reason to do it. Like, I mean, there was always a reason to do it. But...
And because of your thing of not being a cliche, you're like, I'm actually gonna learn how to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah, like I'm not. Like, and don't get me wrong, I sucked. Like, I sucked. And, like, a lot of the guys I hung out with had a lot of fucking patience because I remember one time...
It wasn't an act. It wasn't show me how to do this. Oh, no.
I remember one time at lunch, well, it was a couple of days in a row at lunch, two of my friends, Joey and Izzy, were trying to show me how to ollie in the back parking lot of the high school, like during lunchtime. And so every day during lunchtime, I go into the back parking lot with them and they try to teach me how to ollie.
That's a whole different other story for a lot of high school kids.
But we didn't go back there to do anything like that. They were trying to teach me how to ollie so I can win this other dude over. No, I'm just kidding. Like, I just wanted to learn and they knew I wanted to learn and they thought it was cool that I wanted to learn. So, like, did I ever ollie? Once. And everyone had their backs turned. It fucking sucked. So did I really ollie? I guess fucking not. Because there's no proof. No one saw it.
Never happened.
Well, actually, you saw me ollie.
Yeah.
I did it once.
Yeah.
As an adult.
You did do it once as an adult. I remember, I think... Once. Yeah. I remember... my dad took me... Well, I have two stories. I've told the one that I still look back on now, and I'm like, probably a good parenting decision. But my dad took me, I'll tell both of them, but my dad took me to a skate park, like a full indoor skate park, like with the bowl and like everything.
We had that right next to the high school, that's why. But it wasn't indoor, it was outdoor,
but they had the bike ramp, which if you remember at the time was super fucking high, like higher than our house. and it would go down into a ramp, and you would like be above everything else, and then you would come down on a ramp or whatever. Okay, so they had that over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So we're there for like an hour or so, and I'm like learning how to go down like the vert ramp, and I brought all of my stuff, like skates, skateboard, bike, like we packed the whole thing, right? So I'm like learning how to go down like the ramps and whatever, and which I cried a few times. But like I remember my dad or my sister, one of the two, helping me, like holding my hand when I went down. So when I went, and I got it, and I got all the things that I wanted to get in my head. I think, and we moved here when I was 12, so I was probably 6 or 7 at the time ish. And so I did all the things in my head that like I was like, okay, I want to accomplish this.
I want to be able to do this.
Yeah. So I was able to go down by myself. I was able to like go down the little ramp and onto the, and I did all the things that I wanted to do. And then I saw the bike ramp, and I hadn't done anything with my bike that day. And I'm like, I want to do that at 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember going up there, and my dad, what?
I'm just a
Seeing
nervous Nancy is all.
You're seeing if it's still going?
Yeah.
Is it still going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just a nervous Nancy. I would rather be sure than have to re-record.
I would rather us stop now and go back than to get... Okay, anyway. But, yeah, so I went all the way up there, and all the kids who were like 13, 14 at the time, all the kids on the top of that ramp were the bikes, were like, you coming up here with us, kid? Blah, blah, blah. Like, giving me shit. And I was like, yeah. In my little red Huffy bike that was the size of this table. On a ramp higher than my house, I might add. And I was like, yeah. And so like I was like going over, and my dad was like being like, I don't think we should do this. Like, I don't. And I remember getting so mad at him. I remember being so upset that he wouldn't let me go down this ramp. And we ended up like, and then because of that, like I remember standing, he let me go onto the ramp and like look down. And I remember looking down and being like, this is really high, and getting really nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, well, we're just going to go home. And I remember being so mad about that whole thing. But then looking back on it now, I'm like, if I would have went down that ramp,
you'd have died.
yeah, because this is, mind you, this is back when we didn't have foam pits. It was just concrete. It was straight to concrete. So yeah, if I'm going like 50, 60 feet up in the air as a 6 or 7 year old who has never gone down a ramp that big ever.
Well, you don't have enough weight to keep you on
and doesn't know to hold on to the bike. I'm falling straight on concrete.
Well, yeah, because there was not enough weight on you to keep you against.
No, absolutely. Nope. Absolutely
anyways, not. Like even with the bike, there wouldn't have been enough weight.
So yeah, looking back on it, probably a good parenting decision. But I remember being so mad about that though. I thought about that for a long time of like, I could have done it. Like I can't, like I wanted to try. I could have done it. And then like I remember my dad asking me if I wanted to go back, and I was like, no. I don't want to go back there. Because I was upset. But then when we moved up here, there was a skate park up here, and we spent all day up here. And I remember I spent all day trying to go down the tall vert ramp, like the half pipe. Mm-hmm. I remember trying to spend all day going down that and not falling. And then I got that, and I got the ollie over the gap in the middle, and I was super proud of myself. And then I wanted to do the vert ramp because that was scary for me. And I was like, I want to learn how to do that. Like, go back and forth without, like...
And I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Your brother.
And I was... Yeah, I love adrenaline.
I gotta keep the adrenaline going.
But yeah, we did all that, and I remember going to... I don't know, maybe it was just like an achievement thing for me. Because, like, I remember doing the vert ramp and being like, cool, I can do that. And then the last thing that I ever did was I spent all day, maybe like 2 or 3 days, trying to learn how to do a kickflip, and I did it. And then I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I never wanted to like go into competitions. Like I never like it was just a personal thing. It was really
Yeah.
skating was really like I skated everywhere. Like I skateboarded everywhere. But
Mhm.
like as far as like going like around friends or whatever and be like, check out my sweet skills.
No, I
never
skateboarded.
did. I never.
I skateboarded to school my freshman year almost every day.
Mhm.
That the weather was good enough to, like, and then part of my sophomore year. But when I moved to Fernley, skateboarding was done.
You want to know a tidbit?
Mhm.
Sorry, I just came back on that train of thought. Where the thing for Taz came from was from Bam from Sky. You remember
Sky?
Yeah, his videos. I can't remember. I have to look it up. I'll look it up while I'm talking about it.
Okay.
But he had a logo of his like skate videos that was just so like simplistic.
Hmm.
And I really liked how it's kind of like his BAM logo. Like it was very
the
like
SKY?
Yeah,
It's not Sky.
whatever. You know what I meant.
No. I didn't know what you meant.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was totally lost.
Sorry. But yeah, that logo is where that came from because I saw it from his skate videos.
From the original videos.
Yeah.
Before Jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like really liked how it looked.
Or
and
it was CKY.
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 And I really liked how it looked. And I was like, yeah, because it's 3 letters. So it can like the same thing.
It's just an yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted to learn how to skateboard and I was really interested in it. And then when we moved to the new town, it wasn't that I didn't want to anymore or that I wasn't still interested. It was purely just I didn't want to have to talk to people. Like that's and it's weird because I remember that feeling like that a lot as a kid. Like there was things I didn't do. Like I loved the emo and the scene look, and I never like dove deep into it when I was a kid because I didn't want to be asked those questions.
Yeah.
And it's not because I didn't want to be bullied or anything like that. It was because I just didn't want people to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't want to talk to you, dude. Like I don't. And like the more stuff you do like that, the more attention you bring to yourself.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what I mean? Like I loved that look, but I never did it because I didn't want to be asked the fucking annoying ass questions like, "Are you emo? Are you seen?" And me be like, "Shut up, go away." Like I don't want to talk to you. And then that's kind of how I felt about skateboarding. I was like, I don't know any of the skaters in this town. I don't know if they're cool or not. Like not like cool on like the ranking level, but I mean like cool as in like I'm gonna like them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't want them to ask me or talk to me, and I'm not good, so I don't want them to be like, oh, what are the fuck are you like?
Yeah.
Sometimes skaters are really territorial, and so if you don't already know them before you go into like their area,
or at least know something,
they kind of give you a lot of. Well, it's not really even that. Like even if you're trying to learn, sometimes like some of them are really cool and they'll teach you, but some of them also are really territorial and like get out of here, noob. Like
there's
and I just didn't want to deal with any of that bullshit. So I was just like, I'm not interested in the status quo here.
And I mean, we've talked about genders, but I guess it was easier for me because of that. But I had both too. I remember I had both in the same day, which was really funny. We went to the skate park that I spent all day at when we moved up here. When I first got there, I wanted to learn how to. They had this the parking space concrete thing that they were grinding on, and they had just put like grease on it. And so like I was like, that looks cool because I saw like people like go on there like shoo, and I was like, that looks really cool. And I remember going on it like 3 or 4 times and falling every time because like I had never done it before and it was like super fast, super quick. And there were these two like older kids, probably like 16, 17, because I was still like 10. And they were like, "Can you just get out of the way? Can you just get out of the way? Can you just get out of here? Like,
Yeah.
you're in the way."
Yeah.
And I
like,
remember,
how are you supposed to learn and get like they
and
are?
I remember being really upset about it. And I like there was a couple times throughout that day that I would go, because my dad just sat in the truck the whole time, and there was a couple times where I'd go back there and like be upset and like crying and be like, "This sucks," and then like I'd get over it and go back out there. But that happened to me twice, and then I was like, fine, I'll just leave them over there, and then I'll go to the other side where they had the half pipe. They had the mini half pipe. And I was like, I'll just do my thing over there. And there were these kids over there that were like super like encouraging and super like,
on, dude,
yeah,
I'll show
you're
you a
doing it.
trick.
Yeah,
Like,
it was, and that's what got me eventually that day. Eventually got me to the vert ramp is because like I was slowly, as the other kids were leaving, I was slowly like moving over, like to that side.
Yeah.
Because the big half pipe was in the middle, and it had the gap in the middle. And so like I was slowly moving and like doing and like figuring things out and moving that way, because the parking space concrete thing was over way on the other side. And then like but those guys stayed there all day with me. Not like with me, but like were there all day, and like they were like, "Oh, you're doing so good. Like you're doing great." And like and that helped. But also to your point, like you're right that like most people are like that, especially when you're in that age of like,
not most. There's just like there's two different kinds of skaters.
Yeah.
There's ones who are super territorial and like get the fuck out of the way, get out of here, dweeb, and then there's the ones that are really like,
which I understand.
oh man, that's awesome! Come on,
Which I do understand, having like a 6 or 7-year-old in the middle of a skate park who doesn't really know anything.
And you're tripping over,
like I get,
and you're
yeah.
trying to like
I get how that's frustrating being older, but also like it's nice having those.
Also, I'm 6 or 7. I'm not going to be out here all day like you are. I'm going to be out here for like an hour before my dad calls me.
I was going to say I'm going to be out
Like-
here until my dad's like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Whereas you can be out here with the fucking car lights.
Yeah.
Because your parents don't know where you are.
Or care.
Because it's the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
As long as you're home before they wake up in the morning, it's really all they cared about.
Yeah.
But like stuff like that, like looking back on it, I really appreciate. Honestly, I don't think that I would have. And again, my whole skateboarding career wasn't like for anybody to be like, look at these cool things I can do. They were just for me, and I don't think I would have gotten to those things if it wasn't for people like that. Like I don't think that I would have eventually learned how to grind on like that, which I did that night before I left, if it wasn't for those two kids that like followed me that day and was like, "You're doing so great." I don't think I would have got to the vert ramp ever, because that scared me. Like stuff like that, and it's just really, I don't know. Like that's kind of what I think of when I see like people doing that now, like bullying people or whatever, and being like, "You can't do it." I get it; it's frustrating, but also like,
shut the hell up.
Yeah. Like.
Well, and it's the same for me. The only reason I ever went into the bowl ever was because of Joey and Izzy. Because I went to the skate park with them. Because the skate park always intimidated the shit out of me.
Because there were too many people.
Well, and just like I said, skaters are there's only two kind of skaters, so it always like terrified the shit out of me. And then, but Joey and Izzy came with me, and they would be like, yeah, just do this, do that, and then go and try it. And of course, the first time I ate shit. I mean, I just ate it. I ate it so bad. I even like ripped some knuckles and everything. Like I ate it, but I didn't cry because I was in an area full of boys, and we don't do that. And
we wait until we leave and have a mental
and I remember
breakdown.
there was a guy there that was like, "Oh, you suck," blah blah blah, and he was talking shit the whole time. And then I was sitting over on the edge of the skate park, and I was like drawing. I don't even know what I was doing. I was just I don't know. I was drawing in my blood on the concrete, and
Fuck you.
like I don't even remember what it said, but he came over and he was like,
That's that flashback in the movie where you just have a long pan onto you, and then it just says "fuck you" in blood.
He just came over and like I was sitting there doing that, and he like I think he came over to talk shit because that's what it sounded like, the inflection in his voice. And he was just like, "Are you drawing in blood?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess so." And he was like, "Sweet." And then that was like the last time that dude ever said anything negative to me, like ever. I was like, "Okay, all right, I just gotta be fucking weird." Got it.
Weird is my lane.
My
Got
psychopathic tendencies have to come out for people to think I'm cool. Okay. So
That's what got me.
it worked all around. Ended up working all the way into adulthood. But yeah, I don't know. It was just, it was a cool time.
It was a
Freshman year was a cool time.
It was a sweet time.
It was a cool time.
I think it was cool finding, and I don't know if I know you moved around a lot, so I guess it's kind of different it would be kind of different for you, but I liked finding my people in that. That was cool for me, and I don't know if obviously it's not everybody. It's not everybody's like friend group, because not everybody like grows up skating or does skating, and they have like different interests, and that's fine. But like I like that I found my group of people like 7th, 8th grade into freshman year in that.
Yeah.
Like I found the kids that like skateboarding or liked that culture and like talking about that.
Yeah.
And doing that and like stuff like that. And again, I know that was a generational thing, like that big pop of Tony Hawk and all that stuff like kind of fed into that generation. But I like that I found my people in that too. And it wasn't just a me thing. It was like other people had this interest and I was able to talk to people about like other skateboarders and like things that were really cool. And like I remember when Tony Hawk, I watched it live, when Tony Hawk did the 900 the first time. And I remember being so ecstatic about that. And still to this day, it's like a big memory in my head that I watched that happen live. And I remember calling my friend that I think it was either that night or I told him in the morning. I can't remember. One of the two though. And we talked about it all day at school about how awesome it was and about how like now people do it all the time. It's on like it was on the X Games almost every year. Like people do it all the time. But I remember like my group of people like were invested in that to the point where we all were like, holy shit, like did you see that? Like the same in the same way as like people that like watch wrestling all the time and like saw like a good entrance or like a good match and would like go to school the next day and be like, dude, did you fucking like see? And it was like a friendship thing. I really I really appreciate that in that time of me kind of figuring out how to skateboard and like liking it and what I can do and all that. I found friends that still to this day, like I have a really good relationship with and really like very core memories with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just gotta say this real quick. Shout out to my best friend Jessie though, because that girl went through it with me. That girl, I don't even know if she wanted to learn to skateboard,
but she tried for me.
And she tried. We did. We tried. I think she wanted to too, but yeah, we fell down a lot, me and her. We fell down a lot in front of my apartment building because we were trying to do it where nobody could see us.
How long have we been out here?
I don't know.
Well,
that was only at 30 minutes when I looked a minute ago.
Okay. Well, do you want to look real quick? Because if we don't have time, then we can talk about something else. But
54 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
You can save it for next time.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you about the price of toys.
the price. Well, we can throw that in there.
Well, we can talk about it next time, but I got reminded of something when Wyatt opened a toy, and I was like, holy shit, that is like a thing. Like, no wonder our generation buys the toys we always wanted for our kids, because they're cheap now,
Yeah,
where they weren't cheap
because
when we were kids.
They're nostalgia toys.
And
now.
I'm not talking about like, and when I say this, I'm not saying, oh, that toy was $20 then and now it's $1. I'm saying, like, with inflation, there's no reflection in toys. Like, toys are like TVs. Like, I remember big screen TVs, like you say all the time, I remember big screen TVs being like thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can buy a 72-inch for like $900 or less.
No, the 70. I was gonna say the 72-inch at Walmart is only like $450.
See, so like, and toys are like the same way. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like they're not exactly like that, but with the inflation of everything else, like the cool shit when we were kids isn't that expensive now. And like, what reminded me of that was Wyatt got a remote control car, and I've seen these remote control cars at Five Below, which means they're anywhere from like $8 to like $1. I assume they're probably like $5 or something, maybe even $8. They might be on the high end, but the high end, like $8 is high. But like when I was a kid, no one could afford. Only the kids with like wealthy parents could afford just getting remote control cars.
The purple Charger that I have, that I bought when we first got together, that remote control one, that was $60.
Okay, but yeah, there is like a difference. But when we were kids, there was only like one type of remote control car. It wasn't like now where you have like the cheap remote control cars like Wyatt just got. Not saying that it's cheap, because when I was a kid, that one would have been like not cheap.
The $50.
Yeah. Or there's the ones that people like take to fucking competitions with like shocks and tires and shit. But I'm not talking about like that. When we were kids, there was like a generalized remote control car. There wasn't cheap or more expensive versions. There was like,
you want to know, as far as remote control cars, you want to know a memory that I have with that?
It was like today's hoverboard.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's cheaper versions of the hoverboard, but there's not like a cheap hoverboard and an expensive hoverboard. There's like somewhere in this range is how much you're gonna pay for a hoverboard.
There were 2 remote control cars that I got when I was a kid. One my dad paid for, and the other one I paid for. They had the BAM purple Lamborghini. I bought that one, and it was $160.
Did you cut the top off?
I had it. No, I didn't. No, but I didn't have it for very long. I think I only had it like 2 months.
Knowing me, because I'm destructive, but also like things like, I don't know, things just work
aesthetically.
The way when I saw that episode of Bam cutting the top of his Lamborghini off, I also would have grabbed the little fucking meat, the little meat, and like fucking cut the top of the Lamborghini. I totally would have. But
I had that one, and I remember working. I think I worked for my grandpa, or I did something to get the extra money to pay for it. But I remember that I went and got it. It didn't last very long. It only lasted like a couple months before it broke. I think I ran it into a car or something like that, because I lived on a hill, so like cars would like come.
So you kind of did the BAM thing.
But then my dad bought me the Hummer. The like Hummer with like the spinners, and it had like
the spinners.
Yeah, and it had like the stereo in it, and it had the lights that like when it was super cool.
You sure it was a Hummer, not an Escalade?
No, it was a Hummer. It was the white Hummer.
That was
white Hummer. I know that for a fact. It was a white Hummer, but that was like close to $200 too. But like, even
could you imagine if I pulled up to the girls' school in like
an Escalade?
What a cool vehicle was in our age, like an Escalade.
Pimp my ride style.
Like an Escalade with the fucking spinners.
I think you should. I think it'd be good.
Oh my god!
Oh, can we do that to the truck and get the fake ones, the hubcap ones?
Spinners?
Yeah, that aren't gonna fit the truck tires. They're gonna be.
Stop it.
You
No.
just get out and you can just be like. I think it'd be great. I think it would embarrass Alice, but I don't think she would really be upset about it. I think you would get the big one out of it.
Oh, Emma would be
It would
like,
be
you're not driving me to school in that.
Hilarious.
Emma would definitely be like, you're not driving me to school in that.
It'd be great. I think you should.
So I have to say this real quick because it was funny. So I drop Emma off at school now. I drop Emma and Alice off at school now. Because I don't work, so now I have to do all that.
Yeah, she's doing a great job.
Yeah, I don't want to do it anymore.
She's doing a
I'm
great.
gonna go get a day job, so I don't have to take the girls to school anymore. So
Rude.
Your job.
Rude.
I'm gonna get early morning shift, so I don't have to do none of it.
Oh, dang, that's the only job I could get.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I can only get those hours, babe.
Rude.
But I pick up Emma's friend. Well, I was picking up Emma's friend. We won't be anymore. But she is no longer going to that school. Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. But I was picking up Emma's friend and
So are we
driving
still
her
not
to school every
adopting?
day.
Are we still not adopting now?
Oh, I'm definitely adopting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if that affected that.
Oh, no. We're definitely adopting this child.
Okay. That's
okay.
my mom was. No, it wasn't my mom. It was somebody else. I said that. I was like, yeah, that's my other daughter.
You said it to everyone. You're like, that's our adopted daughter.
Oh, it's mine. I said it's my adopted daughter.
Yeah.
'Cause I only claim her. I don't claim the rest of the 7 kids that come in my house.
No, I know.
But I can't remember who it was. But somebody looked at me weird and they're like, "What?" I'm like, it was Haley. She was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's just Emma's friend. She's just here all the time." She goes, "Oh, okay, I get it." I was like, "Yeah, she's the only one that I claim."
Well, and your nephew took it weird too when you said it. Because you said it, and your nephew had been spending the whole party hitting on her.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, that's our adoptive daughter. And he was like,
damn it. I should have just
and that's when I was joking, and I was like, what is it with this family and adopting everyone?
Damn it.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
but
sorry.
yeah, so I drive them to school in the morning, and one morning they were getting ready to get out of the car, and someone was getting out of a different vehicle, some boy, and Emma goes, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I was like, yell his name.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I didn't do it. I don't know why I didn't do it, because I normally do shit like that, especially to Emma, but I think I was just, I don't know, I might have just been in a mood that morning. And so the next day, they did it about someone else. It was, like, a different guy. It was, like, I don't know, I'm just going to use Peter. It's not his name, but we're just going to say Peter, right? And Emma and Mari get out of the car. Emma and her friend get out of the car, and the doors are both open. And I go, who's Peter? Really loud. And Mari was like, and Emma was like, Mom! And I was like, I got him. And Alice is back there laughing. And I picked them up later, and I was like, okay, so who's Peter to Emma? And she goes, that's Marty's. And I was like, oh shit.
Oops.
Whoops.
I had it, so we'll stop. But I want to tell you this good moment, because this is what I love about me and you being parents. And especially that story.
Because I'm my kid's bully.
No, especially that story compared to the story I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So my favorite part of us being parents is that we call back jokes that embarrass them all the time. And it's really funny because not only do you get like the embarrassment of the first time, but then you call it back and then they're like, ugh.
Oh my God.
So today, when I was taking her in...
My turn.
Sorry, no.
You're the one talking.
I know, because it's fun. Why not? Anyway, but I was taking her and her friend, another friend, they wanted to go to, I can't remember where they wanted to go originally, but they ended up going to this little, like, outlook to the water or whatever.
Okay.
It's downtown. But, like, right by there's this, like, sitting area, but it has all these, like, statues of, like, families sitting there and, like, a parent throwing their kid up, and they're all statues, right?
Oh, so that's what Emma was talking about.
And
She's
so
like the statues. I've heard this like multiple times living in this town now. Like I've even had a mom ask me if her daughter was at the statues, and I was like, I don't know.
I
What
can
that
show you
is.
where it is. It's not that far from here.
Okay.
Anyway, but so they're like, can we go there? And I was like, sure. And so I didn't know where it was either. So they like directed me, and we're sitting in the parking lot for the bar up. And I was like, Emma, are those your friends? Because she's like, we're going to meet up with our friends before.
Oh, was it the water something park? Like water?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what it's
okay.
called.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
But I was like, are those all your friends? And like her friend like laughed.
The statues?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like, and I was like, is that why your friends don't come over? Is because they can't move?
Because they're stuck
They're
here.
just stuck here. And like her friend's like laughing or whatever, and she's like, "Yep, because those are the only friends I can make," or something like that. And they got
You're
out,
the only ones that can handle me.
and they got out of the car and like they laughed or whatever. And so when I took her to what's her name's house,
Natalie's.
yeah. So when I took her to that house, we drove past it.
The statues again, and you're say hi to your friends.
And she was in the back, and so I was like, "Hey, there's Emma's friends," and they laughed, and it was like,
shut up! You're not funny.
It was hilarious. Whatever. Take a poll. That was funny. But yeah, I don't know. That's fun. I like it.
Oh.
What? You want to keep going?
No, I had a good dad joke the other day with Alice, but I can't repeat it on here, so I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. That's okay, because I wanted to tell you something about something that I brought up on here later anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to end this.
Beans and cornbread. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying first.
I'll see.
That's it?
No.
Okay.
So, next time on What's in the Box. No, we got a couple.
Talk about the price of toys! I'm just kidding.
We're going to talk about skateboarding again.
No.
No. No, I have a couple things that I want to talk to you about, but one of the things that I want to talk to you about, and we can talk about it, we're obviously going to talk about it the next time, but I want to bring it up now so you can think about it.
Thinking.
Is what you put into your life in subconscious, like what you're looking at on Facebook.
Oh, I'm so bad at that. I don't wanna.
And how it affects you.
Okay,
that's why I want to talk to you about it.
Fine.
Anyway, so yeah, you guys can think about that too.
I don't believe in it.
I know. I'm well aware. Anyway, so thanks for talking to me in our awesome studio.
Thanks for having me on my own show.
On my own.
Beans and cornbread